participate in the discussion essentially. So we were on, this is the chapter 4 now, contemporary South Asia. In this, we have already discussed. We would like to scroll it up little bit so that we could come to know whatsoever we have gone through by now. First of all, we discussed what do we mean by South Asia, what do we mean by contemporary. We had gone through all these. What are the features of the South Asia? Which countries are involved in the region of South Asia? What is the geographical region? Through the maps, we had discussed all these. We shared the map on Google Classroom also. And different countries had been there, and every country is having the different kind of government system. Every country we had discussed, but one thing is common in the countries of South Asia, that every country has the aspirations for the democratic setup. After that, we started to study one by one. First of all, we discussed the military and democracy in Pakistan. Okay, in this we had gone through the things. We discussed from 1947, and we had seen Pakistan got independence in 1947, and since 1947 till date, 18 prime ministers have been changed, and to to a surprise that no one could complete even the 5 year tenure over there, because every time we don't see in stability in the democratic setup of Pakistan. So it began with that of the military rule under the leadership of General Ayub Khan, we have discussed. After that, again General Yahya Khan, we had gone through this. Then Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, General Ziaul Haq, then Benazir Bhutto came into power. We have discussed all these military and democracy in Pakistan, and we discussed that the question can be given that military and democracy are the two faces of are the two faces of the same coin. Just explain. So you can be asked, you can be put up the questions like this, so you have to explain about Pakistan. Okay, the Benazir Bhutto we had discussed, General Pervez Musharraf we had gone through, and then after that we had discussed till Imran Ahmad Khan. He belongs to the political party Tariq-e-Insaf. At present, he is ruling over Pakistan. Now, question arises. Now we come on our content. We had given you the timeline for this. Please go through the video for just to write the good answer, please. Now, what are the factors which have contributed to Pakistan's failure in building a stable democracy? Now, the question arises obviously. What are the reasons why Pakistan has not been successful in the establishment of stable democracy? What are the reasons behind it? So, what happens if we go through the reasons? In this, we can see, first of all, number one. Here, I would like to write number one. First reason is dominance of military has always been there in Pakistan, and along with the dominance of, here I am writing, dominance of military, military, clergy, clergy, landlord classes, landlord classes, etc. Basically, the dominance in the society in Pakistan, we could see the dominance of military, first of all, clergy and landlord classes, and this dominant class, this always favors the military rule for Pakistan. So this is one of the reason. Okay. So This is the one of the reason. Second reason is second reason second is first first reason was dominance of military, clergy, and the landlord classes in Pakistan. That's why stable democracy has not been set up in Pakistan till date. Second reason is tensions between tensions between India and Pakistan. In short, I am writing this part. So, what happens due to all these tensions between these two countries? Majority of Pakistan always remains in the favor of military rule only. So, this is also the reason that Pakistan has not been successful in establishing the stable democracy in Pakistan. Third reason comes, third reason is lack of lack of genuine international support. Pakistan has been lacking the genuine international support, in fact, international support for the democratic rule in Pakistan. So, what's the reason for this? The reason for this is, which we can say this is the number four reason, because the USA and other Western countries and West. In short, I am writing this West. USA and the West and the other Western countries always encourage military rule in Pakistan. The reason had been over there because they are scared of the threat of the global Islamic terrorism from Pakistan, and the apprehension that Pakistan's nuclear arsenal might fall into the hands of these terrorist groups. And the military regime in Pakistan has been seen as the protector of Western interest in West Asia and South Asia. So all these have been the reasons for the failure in building a stable democracy in Pakistan. Got the point? So we have prepared one slide on this only. We have focused on this. The social dominance of the military, clergy, and landowning aristocracy has led to the frequent overthrow of elected governments and the establishment of the military government. Pakistan conflict with India has made has where I was with India has made the pro-military groups more powerful. We have mentioned in the slide. These groups have often said that political parties and democracy in Pakistan are flawed, that Pakistan's security would be harmed by selfish minded parties, chaotic democracy, and the armies stay in power. Therefore, it is justified as per them. Okay, so all these had been the reasons for the failure of stable democracy in Pakistan. Sumant Sethi is waiting in the lobby. Why all of you are so late? Okay. Next we come. Now here, one cartoon has been given in your book. So we have taken the cartoon here also. What questions can be asked on the cartoon? All of you could see the cartoon? Yes, students? All of you could see the cartoon? Say something, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Who? Can you identify this person? Can you identify, please? This person? Who is he? Anyone can answer? Yes, Shiva, Prashant, Binwant, Sumant. Can you identify this person? You can zoom on your screen, then you can identify to him.
Pervez Musharraf.
Very good.
Musharraf.
Parvez Musharraf. Who recognized? Who recognized? Binwant? Very good. Well done.
Yes,
He is Parvez Musharraf. Okay, so what does the cartoon depict? Suppose you are asked the question, what does the cartoon depict? So what does the cartoon depict? The dual role of Pakistan's ruler Parvez Musharraf as the president and as the army general. It depicts that a military dictatorship had been there in Pakistan, and this military dictator is playing the dual role. He has to play the role of the president also, and he is playing the role of the army general also for the country. Okay. Second, it can be asked, what does it speak about what this cartoon is? So we could say the cartoon speaks about the dominance of one person militarily more than that of the president. It depicts, it speaks about if the powers are uh, uh, snatched away on the basis of military coup, then what happens? Anyone, anyone can dominate the society. Anyone can dominate the country on the ground of military more than that of the democratic setup or than that of the president of the country. Then person thinks more on the grounds of the military. They try to establish the military dictatorship rather than establishing the democracy for the country. So we could say that this cartoon is speaking about all these. Third, it can be asked, what is the person in the cartoon trying to do? It shows the nation that Parvez Musharraf wants to command the administration and military of the country to strengthen his power only. Parvez Musharraf is not trying to work out for the welfare of the country. Here he is trying to establish, he is trying to command the administration and military of the country both, and he wants to strengthen his power only, not the power of the country. Okay, he wants to establish the military dictatorship, in fact. Got it, everyone? So all these are about the cartoon. And this is the cartoon in NCRT on page number 69. Please go through this. And here Parvez Musharraf is saying that my calculation, I'm always good at the calculations. In the way he has been trying to strengthen his powers, he's saying that my calculations are always good and I will prove it. All of you know? Okay, he had created a legal framework order also 2002, if all of you remember. Okay, he changed all the powers of the president. All the powers went into the hands of the president only. That's why he's saying that I'm always good at the calculations. Legal framework order, all of you might have studied in standard 9 in the democratic rights, perhaps, or in the second chapter, sorry, contemporary world democracy or contemporary world politics, perhaps. Okay, so now we move ahead. I hope the things are clear. Now we come on next, democracy in Bangladesh. Now we'll discuss. Now we'll see the democracy in Bangladesh. Though a little bit idea I have given you during the Pakistan's role when we discussed about democracy and military in Pakistan. At that time, we have discussed a little bit about the formation of Bangladesh only. Okay. And now we'll see democracy in Bangladesh. How was democracy established in Bangladesh? What happened? Bangladesh was the part of Pakistan from 1947 to 1971. All of you are aware of this, I hope. That India and Pakistan both got freedom, both got independence in 1947. India was partitioned in India and Pakistan, and Pakistan had been demarcated in the East Pakistan and the West Pakistan. So West Pakistan had been dominating over both the regions, the East Pakistan and the West Pakistan. So what happened at that time? At the time of partition from 1947 to 1971, Bangladesh consisted of the partitioned areas of Bengal and Assam. At that time, Bangladesh, uh, Bangladesh consisted of the two areas from British India. It consisted of Bengal and Assam. Please keep remember, good one marker for you, from British India. The people of this region were against the domination of Western Pakistan and the imposition of the Urdu language. What happened at that time in 1970? West Pakistan began to try to declare the Urdu as an official language of Pakistan, and it began to be imposed on the over the people of Bangladesh also. Sorry, East Pakistan. At that time, it was the East Pakistan. So the people from Bangladesh, they began to protest against the unfair treatment with the Bengali culture and language. They began to protest on the ground that this is not the fair treatment of the West Pakistan again with that of the Bengali culture and language. They are trying to dominate over us. They also demanded the fair representation in administration and a fair share in political power, but they were denied. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman emerged as a popular leader, and he led the popular struggle against West Pakistani domination, and he demanded autonomy for the eastern region. In the 1970 elections in the then Pakistan, the Awami League led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won all the seats in East Pakistan and secured a majority in the proposed Constituent Assembly. But the government dominated by the West Pakistani leadership, they had refused to convene the assembly, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested. We have discussed all these when we were talking about Pakistan. All of you remember? All of you remember in 1970? Okay. So, under the military rule of General Yahya Khan, the Pakistani army tried to suppress the mass movement of the Bengali people. Thousands were killed by the Pakistani army. This led to a large scale migration into India, creating a huge refugee problem for India. And the government of India supported the demand of the people of East Pakistan for their independence and helped them financially and militarily, which resulted in Indo-Pak War in December 1971 that ended in the surrender of the Pakistani forces in East Pakistan and the formation of Bangladesh as an independent country. And Pakistan had become the independent country now. Here we would like to see here we would like to give you one timeline so that you could remember. You can start this. Here I'll write. Okay, all of you could see here. This is 1971. This is, you can write the timeline from 1971. Indo-Pak War took place and East Pakistan was separated from Pakistan and Bangladesh was created. Got it? And Sheikh Mujibur Rahman from Awami League established a democratic, secular and socialist rule in Bangladesh. Then you can mention the timeline 1975. First of all, 1971. Then in 1975, a military coup took place. Military coup took place under the leadership of Ziaur Rahman. Here I am writing this in bracket. Ziaur Ziaur Rahman. Under the leadership of military dictator Zia-ur Rahman, a military coup took place in Bangladesh in 1975 and Mujibur Rahman was killed in 1975. Okay. Ziaur Rahman established the political party Bangladesh National Party. In short, I am writing this BNP. Bangladesh National Party was established by Ziaur Rahman, and then 1981, 1980, then in 1981, General H.M. Irshad, General H.M. Irshad killed Ziaur Rahman. Okay, he was general, again military. General H.M. Irshad killed Ziaur Rahman. In short, I am writing Ziaur Rahman in 1981 and became the dictator. And he became dictator, military dictator. I hope the things are clear. He became the military dictator. General H.M. Irshad, after killing Ziaur Rahman, he became the military dictator of Bangladesh. In 1990, here we have taken all the timelines. Please go through this. Here you could see Bangladesh drafted its constitution declaring faith in secularism, democracy and socialism. This was the year 1971. You could see this. This is 1971. Okay. Then in 1975, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman got the constitution amended to shift from the parliamentary to presidential form of government. He also abolished all parties except his own, the Awami League. He was assassinated in the military uprising in August 1975, which we discussed here. A military coup took place, this one, under the leadership of Ziaur Rahman, and he formed the political party Bangladesh National Party. The new military ruler Ziaur Rahman formed his own this one, Bangladesh National Party, and he won the elections in 1979. Could you see? He was again assassinated and another military takeover followed under the leadership of General H.M. Irshad, and Irshad was forced to allow political activities on a limited scale. He was later elected as president for 5 years. Mass public protest made Irshad step down in 1990. Yes, because people began to protest against General H.M. Irshad. Uh, Basically, people began to protest against the military rule in Bangladesh. Now they wanted to set up a democracy in Bangladesh. So, due to the protest of the people, elections were held in 1991. Since then, representative democracy based on multi-party elections has been working in Bangladesh. Who is the president of Bangladesh at present? Anyone can tell? Yes. Who is the present president of Bangladesh? Ayan, Binwant, Daksh Tomar, Prashant, Shifa, Sumant, Ambika. Yes. Anyone? Yes. Who is the president at present and to which party he belongs? Please.
Ma'am, at present Abdul Hamid is the president of Bangladesh.
Very good. Abdul Hamid is the president. To which party he belongs? Anyone knows? Which party is working? Awami League was created by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and Bangladesh National Party was established by Ziaur Rahman. Okay, so at
Yes, ma'am.
present, which party is ruling over there in
Mm,
Bangladesh?
Nawami League.
Is this Awami League? This is your homework. Please work
Yes,
out.
ma'am.
Okay, just work out, please, to which party Abdul Hamid belong in Bangladesh. Now,
Okay.
next we come on democracy in Nepal. Because in South Asia, we had already discussed that the countries of South Asia always aspired for the establishment of democracy. So, whatsoever the countries had been there, we are going through them one by one. Then later on, we'll see the conflicts between India and Pakistan or any other country. Okay, so now we come on the monarchy and democracy in Nepal. I hope all of you might be having an idea of the monarchy and democracy in Nepal, because we have been discussing this in 10th standard, in 11th standard even, and now again in 12th standard. Anyone can explain, please? Yes, anyone can explain. So do one thing, just work out on